Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Very busy 3-hour program lined up today, including some really good guests today. Anthony Irwin, who covers the Lakers in Los Angeles, on the show coming up in 30 minutes. Paul Stone will start previewing college football conferences with him, some win totals, and an outright or two today on the Sun Belt. That's in 90 minutes. Wes Reynolds on Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Plenty of day baseball, night schedule as well. We'll run it all down for you here today on the program, Pauly. And I'm looking at the odds screen tonight for this do-or-die game for the Indiana Pacers. And the number has actually come down at several books. It was lingering at 6.5 for a full day. Now down to 6. Some other books have 5.5. And here at Circa, it looks like they have the highest total on the board. That number is creeping back up. It was as low as 221.5. Here at Circa, now 223. And we'll play you the latest update that we have on Tyrese Halliburton coming up here in a minute from Sham Shirini on ESPN. But your overall thoughts with those numbers moving, Pauly?
Well, I'm a Dan Karpuk, who did a great job today, vsin.com. He's looking at the others and going to get involved in the alts with the points. I can't imagine this guy is able to do anything and be effective out there when you're talking about points. So that opens the door for Siakam. Mathurin, we mentioned it yesterday that when Halliburton was out, Mathurin was a guy who had some big games. You can do a same-game parlay like with Nebhart to have at least 15 and 6, which pays 7-1. These are some juicy returns here. Mm-hmm. So I can't believe a guy who's banged up and with the bad calf, who couldn't even score in the last game, is somehow going to come out against the number one defense and able to give you anything significant from a scoring standpoint. I just can't see it based on what his game is. And if he can't, penetrate and take you off the dribble, what's he going to do shooting long range and threes, which I can't see you getting to 14 points. But I will say from the game, remember, OKC's 1-8 ATS on the road in the playoffs. Yeah. The only cover was the Miracle, which an all-time bad beat when they were down 4 with 3 minutes and somehow covered 6.
Yeah, very easily could be 0-9 in the playoffs on the road. And by the way, Halliburton, like you said, 13.5 with the points. How does he go over 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists in this game tonight as well?
That's another big ask. I know.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's a huge number. And here's what books now basically...
Yeah, I was going to say, this is wide open, too, from, I think, the game leaders' standpoint. Like Siakam is 10-1 most points.
Yeah.
Mathurin is 9-1. Mathurin already cashed one ticket at a big price.
I think most
150-1.
Most threes tonight could be bonkers, too.
That's another one.
Some guy that is completely under the radar that you would never suspect, and he might hit at a huge number. So basically what the market has done now, shaping up these numbers with the others not named Halliburton, Nesmith, Nembhard, Mathurin, McConnell are all either 10.5 or 11.5 with their points tonight. Yeah. And then the PRA, McConnell's at 18.5. Nembhard has 19.5. Mathurin a little bit lower than that, and Nesmith is at 17.5 tonight. So basically, just pick your guy. Who do you like?
Yeah.
Will all four go over? That seems unlikely to me. But which player there, one or two of them, will go off based on Halliburton probably not being close to 100% in this game?
Yeah, I think they all could. Yep. Mathurin was 10.5. He's now 11.5. Nembhard, I could see him having like a 15-5 game. And I played Nesmith over threes as well, and I think he could have a big game as well because you're taking away all those shots. I think you're taking away all those shots from Halliburton, and he can be more of just facilitator as well. But it also leads to the McConnell discussion. Like if this guy's going to play, and I agree with Brian Windhorst to call him a game-time decision, at this point I would think he's going to play. It's the finals. That's what but how much run does McConnell get? Number one, he was so good in the last game. And how many minutes do you give him, even though your star player's hurt?
Sure. The Pacers, as a refresher here, in the regular season, they were 4-5 straight up when Halliburton did not play. They were 2-7 ATS, did not go well there. And when he was out, here's the rundown of what it looked like for stats in those games. Siakam averaged 21.7 and 7.8 rebounds per game in those games. Nembhard went up to 14.6 points, 6 assists and 3.5 rebounds. Nesmith averaged 14.6 points per game without Halliburton, 6.5 rebounds as well. Mathurin was at 10.9, pretty much his number tonight. And I was surprised to see this with McConnell. 8.6 points per game, 4.4 assists, and 3.2 rebounds per game as well. Those averages for him anyway would be way under tonight's PRA and stay under the points as well. But you figure Carlisle, I think, at this point knows that he made a mistake in Game 5, and that guy should have been on the court way more than what he was in the fourth quarter. He barely came back in when the game was over with, and it was a blowout.
Yep.
And he was playing so well. So I will remind people as well that if you go back to last year, the Pacers were without Halliburton in the final 2 games of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics.
Right.
Now, Boston won both games. They were both in Indiana, but those scores were 114 to 111 and 105 to 102. So they were tight, they were competitive, and that Boston team, say what you want, I mean, I don't love them historically, but they were a really good basketball team. And Indiana kept it close, and they were in it, to the end.
And Nembhard was good in the back end too. Maybe that's the guy to look at, and not McConnell. Maybe he could be the guy.
Yeah, Nembhard might be.
I'm talking everything there. Points, rebounds, and assists. From a point standpoint, I think Mathurin with the move from 10.5 to 11.5 is correct.
Now, this is about an hour ago on NBA Today, on ESPN, and to me, my takeaway was that the back end of this does not sound good. I could only bet Halliburton one way, and that would be with unders tonight. This is what Shams Charania had to say, the latest update here on Halliburton's status for tonight's game.
Malika, I'm told that Tyrese Halliburton has every intention to go out and try to play here in this Game 6. He wants to be out there. He said as long as he can walk, he will be playing. But it is a calf strain, and the Pacers will evaluate him at their 5 p.m. Eastern time, walk through, see how he's feeling, and then pregame, their medical staff will make a determination. But listen, these are tricky injuries with the calf. We know the implications it could have on the rest of your leg. I was told today, if this were the regular season, Tyrese Halliburton would be missing multiple weeks. So if he is able to play, how does he look? How sharp does he look? Or how much does he struggle and how much is he limited? These are all questions going into this game for Tyrese Halliburton.
Now, if that's accurate, and I'm not talking about the comment, I'm saying about like the overall status. Mm-hmm. And if the injury was really that bad in the regular season, he would miss multiple weeks. 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists tonight. I mean, there's a scenario where he goes out there in the first quarter and
he knows he can't do it.
Does damage to makes it worse. It's not going well. Looks at the coach and says, "I can't. It's not going to happen tonight. Get me out of here."
Well, he might not do that though, but that falls on Carlisle. Well, Carlisle blew it in the last game. Well, he said he wanted to play. So you're down 2 in the fourth quarter. You came all the way back. McConnell's been great. What are you talking about?
Huh?
Why does he have to play?
No, he doesn't.
That's the other thing. If he's going to miss 2 weeks, if it was a regular season, it's the fun. Why does he have to play if he's going to hurt the team? He didn't score in the last game.
Right. He was the worst player, not only in the basketball game, it was one of the worst games by any player in the finals in like the history of the sport. The numbers don't lie. That's how bad the guy was. And you were in a better position when TJ McConnell was on the floor. Now, can McConnell bottle that up and have that same exact performance tonight? Maybe not, but he's a solid vet and a pro, and he's definitely had his moments here in the league. But I really can't touch this number based on Carlisle if he's going to stick with the guy again tonight. And if we find out in the next hour when Shams was talking about that's coming up at 5 o'clock Eastern with the walkthrough, if it's just too bad and he can't go, then I will have interest in betting Indiana. I would rather have them tonight with the points, knowing that Halliburton's not going to play at all in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They can hang tight without him.
That's a big ask, and I know these are difficult questions, but to think he's going to score 14 points tonight, after what we saw in the last game, and then will he even play, and how long can he go? And it's 13.5.
Well, even if he goes out there and plays, is he going to have the full capability of a complete Tyrese Halliburton game that we've seen so many times in the last couple of years, where not only he's going to score in that range of 13, 14 points, then he's just going to operate the game as one of the best point guards in the league and dish out 8, 9 assists as well? Grab a couple of rebounds, jumping all over the place?
Well, you don't think OKC's going to put pressure on him? Put pressure on him, bringing the ball up, make him work. He's hurt. Everyone knows it.
Right.
So that's the other thing. Pressure him, bring the ball up, and try to frustrate him and maybe make the injury worse.
I think they really gave this series away.
They missed their chance, yes.
Yeah. Game 4, no doubt. And then, maybe they don't come back and win the game the other night in Oklahoma City, but his stubbornness there to keep playing that guy, he had no chance.
Mm-hmm.
Bad job.
Yeah, how about Williams? I don't want the under. Last 3 games, 26, 27, and 40. He's 23.5 tonight. He's been awesome the last 3 games.
Been terrific.
And now there's at least a discussion who could win the MVP. SGA's 33.5 over minus 125.
What do you want to do with that number?
That one's tough. I don't know. Free throw merchant. No Scott Foster tonight. If it goes 7, it's going to be Scott Foster.
Right. Why would Foster not be on the game tonight?
They think he's the best official, so he would do the biggest game.
But in typical NBA fashion, he'd be on the game tonight to extend the series to a 7th game.
What does it say about the officiating that the league thinks he's the best guy and he grades out as the best official and he's the most controversial and criticized official?
Right. What kind of data are they going by?
I don't know. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Want to make smarter football bets this season? Start with VSiN Pro. For a limited time, grab our football special. The early bird rate of just $175. Full access through the Super Bowl. Our betting guide comes out in a couple weeks. Power ratings, ton of props, season-long bets. I took the Saints today. Most losses 4-1. What do you think? I saw that. That's not bad. That's at Will Hill.
We're going to be rooting against each other because I took the rookie quarterback there to win Rookie of the Year at like 20-1. When the car news broke.
Okay. Best bets, every host, every guest. The betting splits, DraftKings and Circa as well. Don't miss this early bird deal. VSiN.com/subscribe. Lock it in now. $175. VSiN.com/subscribe. The whole football season. Go get it.
Tons of day baseball today. Some games are in the books, and we'll update the live betting numbers, the results from early games as well coming up here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Pauly, I think we're starting to see warm weather play a role across the country in some of these parks and making an impact with some of these numbers. For example, today the hitting conditions were excellent at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, and the Reds got pounded by the Twins by a score of 12-5, but the runs would not stop. The Twins scored 9 runs in the first 4 innings. That was 9-4 after 4. That was Paddock versus Martinez, and there were a ton of home runs in that game. From the Twins side, they hit 4 of them. Buxton hit 2. And I think we're on opposite sides of this one. You were a little upset today because the Rockies lost, and they got beat in 11 innings by a score of 4-3. James Wood with a 2-run shot to win it, his second of the day. He has 20 on the year. That trade with the Padres a couple years ago was looking better and better by the day. But you wanted what, the Rockies to keep losing games?
Well, I'd like to see history here again, but
I wanted them to win.
Yeah, I thought they'd sweep them, and the 11-game losing streak's over. So what an abomination by the Nats. That's ugly. So they come back, get the 2-run bomb, and win. So they'd lose 3 out of 4, and now the Rockies go home to take on Arizona. Gallon's $1.75 tomorrow.
Any interest in James Wood 100-1 to lead the league in home runs?
7 back.
Yeah,
huh?
he's 7 back.
Yep.
Cal Raleigh has 27. I mean, it's a log jam in front of him. Judge has 26, Ohtani 25, Schwarber 22.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
So it's going to be very difficult.
It could be a little Salvador Perez here thing, though. Maybe some guys just get hurt or don't put up the big numbers, and 50 gets it done. Low 50s, maybe.
Yeah, the kid is awesome.
Yep.
We're seeing that now. And also, good hitting conditions today in New York. And look at this. The Yankees finally put it together as they have pulled away from the Angels now 7-3 as they are now moving to the top of the 9th inning. But they were, again, a 275 favorite in this game today. Good for them.
Yep.
They're finally going to win one here against the Angels.
No kidding. And the Angels plus 225 yesterday, and they won again. So, Yankees, Mets struggling. Nats have been awful.
I'll tell you what, it was not easy today for Skubal against the Pirates.
Why was he still in the game?
I don't know.
It's 9-1.
I thought the same thing.
Get him out of there.
So his final stat line was 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, and 6 Ks, and they actually threw him 103 pitches, which is atypical for this organization.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I thought of this on the drive in today. We had a chance because of the rain out last night where the Pirates and the Tigers could have had like a handshake agreement, right? And said, okay, we're going to go Skeens against Skubal. Let's give everybody what they want.
It's been great.
You know what that feels like?
We got some good tweets on that, too. Like, what would the first 5 total have been and the first 3 total?
2.5?
What would have been?
Or the first 5?
First 3 a half? I mean, that would have been
Maybe.
epic. Epic.
That, to me, was the equivalent of every NBA star opting out of the slam dunk contest since Vince Carter. Kind of felt the same way today. Come on, give everybody what they want.
Tough one.
Give us Skeens versus Skubal. It's interleague play.
Yeah, and they own lefties again, too. So they're now 16-5 against lefties. No problem today. Bats came alive early and often, and they're up 9-2. And then we get Skeens in the doubleheader. A lot of doubleheaders today. And he's only $1.40. He's going against a good team, but $1.40 on the road. But considering his numbers and what he's done going back since May, 53 innings, a 1.52 ERA, 53 strikeouts, 1 win, though. It's just ridiculous. Can they get him any support today? But he'll go out there and probably give up 1 run in 6 innings and get a no decision.
Yeah, and actually his strikeouts have been a lot more prolific as well. Going back, he's on a 5-1 overrun with his K-prop in his last 6 games, but he's 8-7 under on the year. That tells you the slow start that he got off to, and also those numbers I think were maybe a little bit inflated to begin the year. And then they came down a little bit, and they started to go over those numbers when they were a little bit lower as well. There's maybe a game to look at in play right now with Arizona as they are taking on the Blue Jays. And Arizona is taking a 6-1 lead over Gossman. And so they're lighting him up right now. They're in the 5th inning. It's off the board right now. I'm trying to get an updated number on the total here.
11.5.
Is that what you're seeing?
What, bad bullpen you going? You want Blue Jays comeback?
Yeah, because the Diamondbacks have a bullpen ERA of 5.39, and their whip is 1.47. And this Blue Jays team has been like red hot. So I think maybe to expect some more runs here down the stretch and go over 11.5 might not be a bad play.
Okay. Co-sign on that one.
All right.
Yep. You want to come back with the Rays?
Oh, boy, how bad was that when last night in Baltimore?
8-0, and you lose the game. Not as bad as Arkansas, but that's still bad.
8-0, Paul. You couldn't even win the first 5.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That happened too?
Yeah, it was 8-8 at the end of the 5th inning.
Oh, man. Well, our guy Morton, though, since they put him back in the rotation, he's 3-0 with a 2.70, and they won all 4 of his starts. So Rasmussen's $1.40 at home today, total 8.5. So Chuckles has been all right here, but that is a sledgehammer. You're up 8-0 and lose the game. They're finding a way. 16-5 last 21 at home, and they've won 20 at 27. Yeah. They're 2 back now with the Yankees.
Hottest team in baseball. I saw today as high as 8-1 to win the division. 8-1. I don't hate that.
I don't either.
I wonder what they were 2 weeks ago. I don't know that answer because I didn't even look. But and by the way, Morton is coming off of it. That you mentioned the recent trends anyway with him. His last start, it was against the Angels. 5 innings, no earned, 10 Ks. So at least a glimpse of the old Charlie Morton that we all have grown to love over the years. And Rasmussen is super solid overall in the year. I'll give you a guy who's absolutely blazing hot right now for Tampa. It's Brandon Lau. Last 7 days, 11 for 23. That is a .478 clip. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and a double. So maybe you could find a decent price on a total base prop tonight, or maybe go runs, hits, and RBIs over 1.5 for him. I think would be worth a look.
Dodgers are too high. They might win the game. It could be easy, but Yamamoto, 275. They're 5-1, last 6 against the Padres now. And after this game, get ready. It's Nationals, Rockies, Royals, and White Sox for the Dodgers. There's not a team with a winning record till, I think, middle July coming up.
Wow.
What's coming up or early July for the Dodgers. But 280, 275 tonight. I think that's a little steep. And maybe they could touch Yamamoto up and the Padres can get the win. And we got to come back with the Astros. That was easy yesterday. You took a vicious beat. The team total on the first 5. The bases loaded, nobody out.
You want me to elaborate on that now or win-lose?
I don't care. You get time.
It just, I was watching watching
4 straight singles. Come on now. Come on.
I was watching. It's been a bad spell here in June for me, so I'm losing games. I'm making up ways to lose bets now. I was watching the game last night, and I couldn't help but laugh. It's baseball. It's what happens. I mean, so it's 1-1 going to the 4th, and I have the Astros team total over 2.5 minus 110. They get the bases loaded, nobody out. and they only score 1 in the inning. The broadcasters were stunned. They're like, oh my, I can't believe we got out of this. So it's 2-1 going to the 5th, and they don't get anything, and that's a loser for me. And then in the 6th inning, there's nobody on and 2 outs, and they exploded for 7 runs, including 2 home runs. It's like, that was a fun one. That's great, but that's the way it happens, man. Baseball's tricky, and it's tough, and it just, sometimes you just got to laugh at it, but I think you're exactly right. Every other bet came in. That one did not, but the team total for the game came in. Your bet on the run line came in. Alternate runs came in. The game total went over, and I think maybe the game total again tonight might not be. I mean, this team is blazing hot right now.
Yep. I think they'll get to Lopez, no doubt.
I think so too.
Yep, and I don't have a lot of faith in the Mets right now either. Braves trying to get the broom out. Strider $1.40 going against Holmes.
Boy, was he good last start. It was against Colorado.
Yep. You know how I feel about that Sanchez-Luzardo tandem with Philadelphia, and I think the Phillies are too cheap against the Marlins as well, and they'll get enough runs against Cabrera, and Sanchez will limit this bad Miami team. $1.40 feels, $1.35 on the road feels okay.
I will point out, going back to the Padres-Dodgers game for a second, Machado's only faced Yamamoto 6 times in his career, 2 hits, both those for home runs. And Andy Pajes is one of the hottest players in Major League Baseball right now. Over the last week, 8 for 19. That's a .421 average with 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, and 2 doubles. So, again, a guy that you probably want to attack with some player props on a daily basis. And Nimmo against Strider is 8 for 16 in his career with 2 home runs, a double, and a triple.
There you go.
But that was a really good sign for Strider to come back. I know it was Colorado again. Velocity was up a little bit. But that's the dude who was so good for like 2 years in a row where you're like, oh, my God, he might strike out 15 every single game.
What happened to Tyone today? That was surprising.
Yeah.
He has been so good. And the Brewers were all over him.
Yeah, they lit him up early, often. Our guy, though, PCA did another one.
He did, yep. PCA went deep in the first.
So he's got that. Yeah, 20 home runs, and now he's already hit the 2020 club for the year. Good. He's down to like 8-1 now to win the MVP. 16-1 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But again, it's the best player of all time who's in front of him.
Right.
Who he's got to beat out.
And I give up with Texas. I give up. This is ridiculous.
I know.
They were playing good ball, and now they're going to get swept at home by Kansas City, who's dreadful. Again, you can't score. 1 run, 3 runs, 1 run. I mean, this is just a travesty what's going on.
The 1 run today was big for many people because that was the first Major League home run by Jack Caglione. He went deep. Did you see where that pitch was at?
No, I missed it.
It was eyeball level.
Yeah.
Passan tweeted that out from ESPN. He's like, look at this home run. It's at his eyeballs, and he's 6'5". Then he took it deep. Anthony Irwin on the program coming up next. He covers the Lakers in Los Angeles, now having the same ownership group as the Dodgers. Can we expect similar passion for winning at all costs? We'll ask him coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The biggest news in sports yesterday, obviously the Buss family selling the Lakers for $10 billion. And that rocked the entire sports world. We talked about it from a betting perspective. More on that here as Anthony Irwin joins the show, senior Lakers insider at ClutchPoints, host of Lakers Lounge. You can follow him on X at Anthony Irwin LA, and he is on the progressive guest line. Anthony, thanks for the time today. What was your day like yesterday? What was your reaction to the news?
It feels like it's all been a complete whirlwind. It was the kind of thing that, I said this on Twitter yesterday. There were whispers about it over the last year or so, and they kept on getting louder and louder and louder. But even while they were getting louder, you just never envisioned a world where the Lakers were not going to be run by the Buss family. And then news hits, and it's just survival mode. It's all right. Well, I got to go live, and I got to write. Now I got to do this, and I got to tweet, and all this stuff. So it's kind of slowing down. The realization of what's actually hit and what it means is starting to set in. And honestly, it's really exciting. I think Lakers fans in general should be really excited about what this means for their favorite team.
No doubt. Were you surprised with the reaction with the cheering on social media?
That honestly has been the question I've been waiting to get asked in doing several radio hits and stuff like that since. it has been, I remember this distinctly when I was, however many years younger. But after Dr. Buss had died, Magic Johnson stood up on the stage at his like funeral ceremony that they threw. And he basically begged Jeannie Buss, don't ever sell. Don't sell this thing. You have the city behind you. We are always going to be behind you. And then fast forward to yesterday, Magic Johnson's complimenting and praising Jeannie Buss for selling. Lakers fans in general were pretty overwhelmingly celebrating the moment and the idea that the Lakers were finally going to be run like a modern organization. It really kind of blew me away about how frustrated I think people had become about the nepotism, about the cronyism, about the Lakers, this worldwide brand, this multi-billion-dollar behemoth being run like the restaurant from the Bear at the beginning of the series.
Yeah, okay. Oh, great line. Okay, so then it is the Dodgers ownership group obviously now taking over. And I think the correlation that many people had is, well, they're now going to do the same exact thing, right? They're going to go and get it's not the same thing, though. Major League Baseball, there's no salary cap. In the NBA, you have to pay a pretty severe tax. And the Warriors do that. I understand that. And as capable teams can pull that off. But where can they get better outside of like adding 5 superstars in the offseason?
It's the non-cap restricted stuff. They don't have a scouting department. They don't have a professional scouting department. They don't have anybody whose job it is to watch the rest of the league and take note of recent trends and developments as they're happening. And the Clippers, for example, they employ somebody whose job it is to literally just walk around the arena and walk around the media section and just have conversations with people just to gather intel on what's going on around the league. The Lakers have never done anything like that. They haven't employed a shooting coach since 2022. They underpay their assistant coaches. Their medical staff is underserviced. Their video coordination team is at least like a third of the size of your average NBA video team. Analytics department is basically run out of a closet. It's this bare bones organization that is finally going to have these resources so that they can raise the floor on their mistakes while also maintaining the brand awareness that allows them to go out and get a Luka, to have LeBron interested in playing for the Lakers, to have Clutch wanting to get Anthony Davis to the Lakers in the first place. It's that combination of what they've done really, really well, which is acquire stars, and improving some things that they've done really, really poorly, which is managing the margins.
Mm-hmm. Great answer. So the modernization of the Lakers, as it's been put by many, you expect them to come in and then they'll run it like they run the Dodgers. And everything you just said, that'll be the first things they attack, which, like you said, like Jesse's running the director of scouting, Jesse Buss.
Yeah. I covered the Dodgers while Mark Walter was kind of taking over. Okay. And I covered the search for their manager when they eventually hired Dave Roberts. And when they hired Dave Roberts, they brought in like 15 candidates. It was this incredibly immersive and detail-oriented search that involved several rounds of interviews and all kinds of rumors and all of this stuff. It took forever. And I compare it to the way that the Lakers hired JJ Redick, where basically at the onset after firing Darvin Ham, JJ was kind of sort of the favorite, and he remained the favorite throughout. It depends on who you talk to when it comes to the Dan Hurley aspect of it, but it was not very immersive. It was not particularly detail oriented. It was this kind of weird thing where I reported JJ Redick was named or was going to be named the head coach of the Lakers. It took a couple days, and then those reports got picked up on and stuff. And it was just always kind of understood that he was going to be the head coach. I just think they're going to stop being run that way.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Anthony Irwin, senior Lakers insider at ClutchPoints, host of Lakers Lounge. Follow him on X at Anthony Irwin LA. Here's another example I wanted to run by you. There was a stretch for like 3 or 4 years where they were actually making good picks in the draft. It was when they were really bad at the tail end of Kobe's career. In 2014, they took Julius Randle. In 2016, they took Brandon Ingram. They took Zubac that same year. In 2017, Lonzo Ball. I can remember vividly back then, it's like people were screaming from the mountaintops, these players stink. You missed it on all of them. And what happened as soon as they left and went to a different team? They immediately developed. And what did the Dodgers do every single year and seemingly for like the last, 3 or 4 decades? They not only add superstars, but they develop young talent, and they always have like young prospects. And that to me is where I think the rest of the league should be scared.
Well, and they found Max Muncy off the scrap heap. They found Justin Turner off the scrap heap. They traded a pitcher for I'm blanking on his name, Chris Taylor, who helped win them a World Series. Like they are, not only are they able to go out and sign a Shohei Ohtani when they have that opportunity. Not only do they have the prospects to trade for a Mookie Betts and then to sign him to a nice long extension, so you have him throughout his prime. They have that ability, but they also are run like a small market team that needs to unearth talent wherever they can find it. And that's the thing, that if the Lakers nailed that, if the Lakers are able to figure out a way to start doing that, where their veteran minimum signings start to produce more than last year, where you had Christian Wood never play for the Lakers. You had Cam Reddish be somebody who Lakers fans hoped would never play for the Lakers. You had all kinds of players over the years that signed these veteran minimum contracts, and it was always kind of rudderless how they found those guys. Now, if you do have a purpose and you do start to develop some of that youth, that not only that you draft, but also that you find, those are going to be market inefficiencies that are absolutely critical in this much more punitive CBA.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So this is going to be dangerous, right? This is dangerous for the rest of the league. We all agree?
I just finished writing about this for ClutchPoints. I asked around. Well, it was the kind of thing that you ask around about after having conversations about it. And they, the people who I spoke to over the last year or so, a lot of owners were hoping this day would never come because the Lakers, again, they even while the Lakers were able to bring in LeBron James after the ugliest stretch in franchise history.
Yes.
How many teams do everything in their power to be as great a landing spot for so many of these teams? Kevin Durant just told the Minnesota Timberwolves, "You're too cold, man," and the Lakers never have to worry about that. So now you combine that ability to attract stars at the upper echelon of the league, and then if they're also going to get proper resource investment from Guggenheim. That's the kind of thing that the league was really hoping. Not the league. The NBA is thrilled about the fact that their marquee franchise is going to be more consistently relevant moving forward. But the 29 other teams are not all that happy about this.
Like 30 seconds here, but that's not for this offseason though, right? Like this is a short turnaround here, I believe. This would be for more like the year after or maybe even a couple years from now, don't you think?
The point is to maximize Luka's tenure to a much greater extent than they maximized the LeBron and AD era, right? You had two top 5-ish players there for a while. LeBron James told Father Time to just go chill over there for a while, and it didn't seem to matter. They missed the playoffs while they had both of those guys. Yeah. That is never going to happen under Mark Walter, under Guggenheim. They are going to be a much more consistent team here moving forward.
Hey, Anthony, that was superb. Thanks so much for the time. We appreciate that.
Thanks for having me. Anytime.
There you go. Senior Lakers insider at ClutchPoints. Follow him on X at Anthony Irwin LA. Up next, win lose. I still can't get over what we watched last night. You want to talk about a double whammy bad beat?
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Coastal Carolina 220 up to 280, 26 wins in a row. Game 1 Saturday against LSU. Rockies plus 140, Angels plus 225, Braves 185 up to 210, Astros 160 up to 190. Altuve to go deep 7-1. Will Smith 5-1. Lau plus 525. Earlier today, tennis, Wong beat Coco Gauff plus 380. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos. At Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. This is teamwork, baby. The cat puts it in the machine to play fetch. You got one? It's a great game of fetch. You got 3? What do you got? Anything? All right. Nothing's working. Lose some, Arkansas 125 up to 155. Do you have words for this?
I mean, Paul, it's been 15, 16 hours or whatever since it ended. I don't even know what to say. When it was happening, I have to point this out, though. The ESPN broadcast crew was superb in real time.
You think so?
Oh, my God. They said, and they slowed it down, and were like, how does he not? That's tailor-made for the double play.
Right.
How did he possibly get the lead runner at third base?
Why would he do that? Right.
Yep.
Right. The throwing air. And then the kid slips, and it hits him off the head or shoulder on a routine fly ball. They're going to win the game.
Yep.
And then in 2000, people just saying they're cursed. In 2018, they would have won the title. Routine fly ball. 3 guys look at each other. It drops.
Yeah.
And then they lose that game and lose the next game to Oregon State.
The game is over. That tailor-made. I mean, unless they botched that, which I guess could have happened. But that double play is going to end the game. Okay, fine. He goes to third instead to get the lead runner. The left fielder's going to end the game with the catch. No. Okay, tie ball game.
Yep.
And then the second baseman going up to try to make the catch. It hits his glove, falls out. Like, we're going to at least go to... No. And then, oh, by the way, what was worse? Arkansas on the money line to win the game? Or the under 10.5?
The under. It was 2-1 in the 8th inning. Under still. Yep.
And guess who had it?
I know. Mr. Poison.
Our buddy Mr. Poison.
That's right. That's right. Teamwork here, baby. This is excellent teamwork. Here's the cat putting it in the machine, and then it fires off, shoots out, and there goes the dog to go get it, bring it back, okay? Little fetch. Brings it back up on the table for the cat.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Look at this. The cat throws it back in, puts it in the machine with his paw, shoots it right out. Dog goes, gets it again, brings it back. Cat dumps it in. This is incredible teamwork. He's sitting on the table there, firing in. The dog brings it up the steps, put it back in. I got it, no problem. Because he has the grace period, right? He has the time once he sets it down where I can wait. Okay, he's got to put it in, and
it's terrific.
Smart. That is good. I like this one too. So the owners bought the stroller for the baby. They never thought about the dog, and the dog thinks it was for him. What baby? I'm fine. You got the kid up top, and I'm down low.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm a puppy too. Sometimes the heat, I don't want to go for the long walk. He's a big fella too.
I'm telling you, I see this all the time now.
Yeah, right?
It's something that I never noticed before having a kid.
Look at that shot of the dog in the stroller.
Right. And now that we take Sebastian, you can't now in the summertime because it's 144 degrees out here.
Yeah.
But like when it's not this hot outside, we take him to the park all the time, and you see this all the time. And I got to say, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep. You got a jackpot too? Here it is. Our buddy Chris, Copper Keg, Disneyland of bars, gaming bars.
Dealt
2s and a kicker. That's $20,000. That is something special, and that player gets after it. They will sit there all day as well. Sometimes they'll hit a couple. Other times it goes all back in. You never know. You never know. Bad beats. Orioles led 8-0. How about Orioles' first 5? That's worse than the Marlins against the Padres. 6-0 in the first. And Arkansas and under. 2-1 in the 8th. 5-3 in the 9th. 10.5. 11 the total. 6-5 LSU. They take on Coastal Carolina, as I mentioned, how they can go to work with the off days on the Jell-O Shot Challenge. Before the line moves, the Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com already there. They don't chase the market, they move it. You're not going to outmuscle billion-dollar books or full-time pro bettors on your own, but with the Sharp Plays, you don't have to. Powered by cutting-edge AI and trusted insider sources, the Sharp Plays delivers the edge that serious bettors rely on. Free betting reports, real-time alerts, market-moving insights delivered right to you via email or X. He's been doing it since 2011. Jeff has the receipts, logs, and results right there on the site, sharpplays.com. Trusted by pros, watched by the books. Check him out now, sharpplays.com.
Mentioned that earlier. Pete Crow Armstrong with his 20th home run today. So now he became the 4th fastest player in Major League Baseball history to join the 2020 club in a single season. And look out, the Brewers had an 8-3 lead not that long ago. It is 8-6, and they are playing in the bottom of the 8th. Cubs have runners on first and third, but now there are 2 men out. And we keep getting runs, so this is good. The Arizona-Toronto game is now 9-1. So if you got in that bet at over 11.5, it's only going to the bottom of the 6th. Plenty of time for us to get that bet in.
That was a great spot by Anthony Irwin.
That was so good.
Also, I think it pays dividends immediately because even though you see what Ballmer does every year, you mentioned the Warriors, willing to spend, willing to bring in pieces, do whatever it takes to win. I mean, this kids, it was all about this is what they had. I mean, it was like he said, family business, mom and pop shop. Like sometimes I'll cook, other times I'll come out and wait on tables.
Sure.
I mean, do you think the analytics department run out of a closet? Jesse Buss, director of scouting, Joey helping with development, and you nailed it too. And David Thorpe used to say that all the time when he was on with us from True Hoop and used to work for ESPN. Their development of players stinks.
That was terrible.
Go back and look at the track record of these young guys, and as soon as they would leave, they would become something. So
it happened over and over and every single year.
They're going to have so many more resources. They're going to run it like the Dodgers. They'll make some big front office acquisition in terms of developing, scouting. I think the first move the Dodgers made was get Friedman in and what he's done. So
it's a dream job for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was with the Rays. Think about that. Such a brilliant baseball mind doing what he did with Tampa and turning down jobs, I think, left and right, according to reports. And the Dodgers come calling. He's like, so I can be me, but we have endless funds? Yeah, it sounds pretty good. So give me your timetable then. The free agent class this year is, not good enough to me. It's not, Kevin Durant's not going to put them over the hump. They're not going to be in the Giannis sweepstakes. So to me, I can't envision it happening this offseason and turning into, they're going to be good, but worth a bet at 16-1. To me, no. But you think maybe...
Yeah.
You think already this offseason they might do something?
Well, think about it. If you don't have any analytics department or scouting or developmental stuff, I mean, it's... and guys coming in to help out. He's also right about what you're paying assistant. You're going to get better coaches. You're going to get better assistant coaches, too. Better staff, everything.
Are they going to deal with Hachimura, by the way? I saw that report last night.
Yeah, that was out there. Yeah, but the Dodgers don't spare any expenses. We'll hire all these different players and all these different coaches and even the exhaustive search that he talked about. You mentioned the dark days, too, and they did get bailed out with the decision where LeBron decided, but it was more on LeBron's going to go to the Lakers. No one had to sell him, although Magic maybe have closed the deal and put it over the top. Those dark days there where top players wouldn't even give them a meeting and even consider the Lakers, how bad that was. Forget about making the playoffs. They couldn't even sniff 500, how bad that was. But then you win the title in the bubble, and then you had the Western Conference Finals run. But I didn't think they maximized Davis and LeBron, though, together.
No.
You did have 2 top 10 players, but you also ran into Joker one year as well. But I can't fathom that. They were LeBron James, and they missed the playoffs a couple times.
Sure.
That can't happen.
No, they got bailed out by the bubble championship. Otherwise, it would have been a total flop with him so far. Got this message, by the way. You may have as well. Big NBA guy, right? Connected with the league. Told me last night. The Lakers get Luka for 10 cents on the dollar. The Mavs win the lottery. And the Lakers then sell for $10 billion. Next, we're going to hear that the NBA is considering removing the 2 punitive second apron penalties from their CBA. And he says, I'm sure it's all a coincidence. I would not be stunned. How could you be? Would you be shocked for 1 second?
Yeah. They do something with that?
Sure.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden, yeah, man, now we can, freewheel this baby.
You know who the big winner is? Other than the Buss family?
Oh, they're big winners, yes.
How about Jay Moore? Jay Moore married Jeannie Buss a year ago. He's walking in. Okay, here's $5 billion. Call it a day. Oh, you can still run the team? Okay. And then Jay married Jeannie. Sure, I'm sure there's a contract and stuff, but still. Talk about a kick in the coverage. What a job by Jay Moore. How did that happen?
For many years, I was the president of the Jay Moore fan club.
Uh-huh.
Love the guy.
Funny guy.
Funny guy, transitioned into a full-time sports radio host, and I thought he was one of the best in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Loved him. The impressions, unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
And now he just decided to, like, that's it. He's going to marry Jeannie, and now no more anything?
Doesn't have to.
No? All right, Game 6 and what we know about Tyrese Halliburton at this point next.